What's going on, everybody? This is the true power of the internet, and today we're going to be going over Shane Morris. Now, as most of you probably already know, this is the guy that made the fake MS-13 brick of heroin story on Twitter a few days ago, and since then, it's been a tremendous shit show with him. Since he came out with the story, he has come out and said that it was a lie, and that even though it was a lie, that MS-13 is really after him. He started a GoFundMe page for him and his wife to disappear. So we're going to go into what this guy said and some of the past dramas that he's been involved with. Now, before I get into this, I just want to say that lately I've been doing a lot of videos on the current state of the internet over the last few years and this cancel culture, and the way that this drama, whether it be fake or whether it be real, a lot of times it is not only motivated by more clicks and it going viral, but there's also products and money and deals and things involved. And you know, we also happen with James Charles and Tati. So this might be along the lines of the same things, but this is rather interesting. Now, my opinion of this guy, Shane, is that he is a very, very good troll. He's very good at writing. He can be pretty funny at times, but, you know, he's definitely a scumbag. Definitely a very bitter guy. Looks to hurt people at times. And he's a liar. And a lot of times he'll contradict himself, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So right now we're going to get into an article that he wrote on Medium, and this was when he finally came out and admitted it was a lie and that MS-13 is after him. So let's get into that. Here we go. Alright, so here's the story from Medium. I lied. I made the whole thing up. Now I'm in huge trouble. And this was the original post, the story. Y'all want to hear a story about the time I accidentally transported a brick of heroin from Los Angeles to Seattle? I bet. All right, let's do this. A thread. It had 63 retweets and 170 likes and 2.4 thousand comments. Now, I'm not going to read the whole story, just half of it. But basically, in the beginning, he's replying to all the people that found holes in his story, all the people telling him, you know, do you know what you actually did? Do you know there's a very good chance that MS-13 is going to come after you now? And that's kind of when it starts getting interesting. And like I said, this guy's a great troll. A big liar. So I don't know if what he said in the story is true, and I don't know if we're ever gonna know. But here we go. Because when he posted this story, he had posted pictures too, which, you know, added to the believability of it. And I guess that's why everybody ran with it. You know, they said, you know, the saying, pictures or it didn't happen. Well, he had pictures of this this trip. The reality of the situation is that I should probably be writing screenplays rather than coding software. If you love the story, as I just told, and you thought, wow, that should be a movie, I agree with you. In fact, many agents agree with you too, because my phone hasn't stopped ringing in 3 days. I would love for this story to be a movie, but I need you to know it's not a movie based on a true story. If you want to watch a film based upon what you just read, you should know that it's only based on a true story in the sense that it was written around the story of two almost broke guys who bought a van. The vast majority of the films you see aren't based in reality. They're elaborated stories told by brilliant liars. That's what screenwriters do. If you put it in perspective, they tell stories that never happened, purely to entertain you. The stories are lies because they never really happened. But it's okay to lie in films. We know it's not real. When I got to the end, I had no idea how to finish it. But I knew I needed to have that big moment where you say, oh shit, that was the most insane shit I have ever read. I knew some huge twist would be what really sold it. That moment where you're like, oh man, he really escaped death. So I used the name of the gang that I always see in the news. There are hundreds of street gangs in America, but the one that Donald Trump mentions by name when he's doing rallies, that's MS-13. They earned that reputation by being prolific. Before I go on to this next part, I just want to add that I find it real suspicious that right after this, in the news, it's come out some stories about MS-13. Here you have a story. They found some remains. Also another story of a 14-year-old girl that was assaulted here. And when in the comments, a lot of people were saying, on top of calling out his the holes in his story and that it was probably a lie and that MS-13, you know, it's a good chance they're going to be mad and want to kill him. They were also saying that this is propaganda. And, you know, I don't know. You know, I really don't know, because it seems with these stories coming out, possibly it could be orchestrated, you know. A lot of this drama, they work in conjunction with each other. But the truth is, this guy's definitely a racist. I mean, he actually was running for Senate in Tennessee, and look at this video that he came out with.
My name is Shane Morris. I'm running for the Senate from the great state of Tennessee. Why? Because poor people. That's why. Because I think that literacy is overrated. Because I want to make sure that corporations get as much money as they can. Because I'm terrified of brown people in faraway places, and I want to bomb them into oblivion. Every single morning I wake up and I think, how can I put more money in the pockets of billionaires? I just got off the phone with the president of China, and he said that he's definitely doing climate change.
I mean, obviously, the guy's a huge troll. You know, but whether they're jokes or not, you know, very racist. And it's also some big name news outlets like Vox have come out with stories saying that, in a way, some people thought that they were defending MS-13 members because they're young and because Trump pushes them as a you know, a border and immigration problem, when the truth is that they are born here in the U.S. Now, I'm already going off on a tangent, but I just want to say I do like Trump. I think we needed a businessman in the presidency. A lot of politicians are just full of empty promises and lies. But I'm obviously Hispanic, and I can't argue with the fact that most MS-13 members, the majority of them, the young ones, were born here in the United States, which would not make it a border problem. All right, back to the story. More importantly, it's about the audience reading and understanding what gang I was referring. I knew the audience would recognize MS-13 because it's in the news all the time. Name recognition matters. When you think Honda, you think reliability. When you think Rolex, you think expensive. When you think MS-13, you think the MS-13 you never ever want to fuck with. You know what I've learned from all this? I really do want to be a screenwriter. These past 3 days, talking to people in TV and films, Some of them are my heroes. I feel like a real asshole because I lied to some of my biggest heroes because I want to be like them. For 3 days, I had it all: a big time agent, big time lawyer, even a few big time production companies were ready to write me a check for more money than I have ever seen in my life. Now, again, I don't know if any of this is true. Um, Possibly, maybe there's some small truth in it, but this guy's a huge exaggerator, and you don't know really what to believe. But this lie has been incredibly stupid, and it comes with a heavy cost. A few hours ago, my weed man came by for his usual delivery. I don't know how you are with your weed man, but my weed man and I have a good relationship. Life lesson: keep a good relationship with your weed man. Tip for delivery. While he was at my house, I was showing him the thread, the whole story, and how I went viral. When I got to the very end, he said, "Wait, hold up. Hold the fuck up. Did you actually just casually throw out how you robbed MS-13? Bro, that is the fucking whitest shit I have ever seen in my entire life. Like, bro, you know me. I used to bang. I know these niggas. These niggas ain't just gonna murder you. They're gonna make that shit last for 6 fucking hours, bro. I don't even know if I can be in this fucking house right now." The narrator voice went off in my head. At the moment, I realized I had fucked up. So again, I mean, just you really don't know if this is made up at this point. He demanded I leave my house. I don't recollect his exact words, but it was, "If you don't get the fuck out of this house right now, I'm gonna kill you myself. So at least I know you died a painless death. I'm dead fucking serious, homie. Get the fuck out of this house." Since dinner time, I've been crying on the bed of my friend's guest bedroom, petting my dog, trying to decide which treehouse in Germany looks the most attractive as a long-term home. Why? Because lies have magnitude. When my wife asks me if it's okay if she eats the last of the ice cream, I say, "No, honey, you have it. I'm done with it." That's a lie, but it's a lie that only I know about. I wanted the rest of that ice cream. Those kind of lies hurt 0 people. So again, I mean, just the way this guy writes, it kind of makes you think that this is just as much bullshit as the original story. But let's say you told a lie to 120 million people on the internet about how you found a brick of heroin that belonged to the most prolific street gang in America and then decided to scam them for it. In case you ever get the urge to do what I did, perhaps try slamming the tip of your dick in a car door instead. It's a much wiser idea. I owe a lot of people an apology. I'm going to apologize to those people privately because what I did was extraordinarily shitty. I just want to take this moment to sincerely apologize to all of you because so many of you DM'd me and said, "Whoa, is this true?" And I was like, "Yup, the whole thing." This guy really is a compulsive liar. Does the fact that I lied make the entire story any less compelling? Sure. It's fun believing it was a true story. And I hope you can still see me as a creative writer, knowing that the entire thing is a work of fiction. I hope if you read through it again, you decide to paint a picture with your mind and see it as a movie in your head. So many of you called me a legend, and that's not who I am. The truth about me is I'm so vanilla it hurts. The harsh reality is that when I was in my 20s, I liked camping and hiking. Then I became a mid-level music blogger in my mid-20s. Then I became a mid-level record label guy in my late 20s. Now, in my early 30s, I write software for insurance companies, not much about me is legendary. Aside from my imagination, I'm a boring married guy with a hound dog who loves history podcasts. So here you can see there's a little bit of truth here. That's actually been what he did in his career. He also has a media consulting agency that he runs for celebrities and music artists called Beautiful Majestic Dolphin. I guess by putting myself into the story, I thought people would think I was cool. Everyone wants to be a celebrity with a blue check mark and a gazillion people commenting on your Instagram. When my post blew up, I thought I might reach that. You might not understand this yet, but there's a point you reach in your early 30s after you get married when you stop showering for 3 or 4 days sometimes. And you're watching yoga videos and you're like, holy shit, what the hell happened to me? I feel like the least coolest person on the planet. In conclusion, I'm going to keep writing, and this time around, I'm going to clearly label it fiction when I do. No one gets mad at you as long as you make sure to label your words a work of fiction. Again, a big lie. If this guy ever gets out of it, which I doubt that he will, I don't think he would ever do, label anything he says as fiction or that it's not true. I just had to stop the lie. This moment reminds me of a film called World's Greatest Dad with Robin Williams. His son dies from autoerotic asphyxiation. So instead of telling the world the truth, his dad, a struggling writer, decides to concoct an elaborate lie who his son really was. At the end, he reveals he was just an opportunistic asshole with a brilliant imagination. And that's who I am, an opportunistic asshole with a brilliant imagination. Finally, some truth, because I can't argue with him there. All right, guys, so that's about it for the story that he's in the news for right now. If that's what you came here to hear, that's pretty much the end of it. But if you're still not convinced that this guy really is slime and really is a liar, I'm going to go into a little bit of his past with some pretty big dramas that he's had with one of the members of Panic at the Disco. He was impersonating him. And Lil Nas X, Old Town Road, huge song right now. He was actually the person that was responsible for that. And finally with Travis Scott, a big accusation that he made about him. So if you just came here for the story, that's the end of the video. If you guys want to stick around, I'm going to be about another 10-15 minutes. And I'm going to go into depth about these other despicable, terrible things that he's done to other people in the past. All right, so I'm going to start off with the guy from Panic at the Disco, Ryan Ross, the songwriter for them. Shane Morris was at one time working in the music industry, and from what I gathered, he was the manager for this guy, Ryan Ross. This troll is, compared to the other things that he's done, is fairly innocent. Basically, what he did is he somehow hacked into his Twitter account and wrote some tweets, but they were just kind of funny. I'm going to read them now, and I got a slight kick out of them. Here we go. Seeing Mario on Maui would be fun. That baby got green overalls, Peach. I have red overalls. Luigi smiles all smugly. Peach cries. It's hard to tell the difference between vegan restaurants and the gardening section of the Home Depot. Hold one end of a roll of aluminum foil and roll around on the floor until you look like a baked potato. The new Jurassic Park movie won't have real dinosaurs in it? Where the hell did the dinosaurs from the first three go? If laughter is the best medicine, giggles are the best vitamins. George Clooney's giggle sounds like a gay dog barking. Sandra Bullock's giggles doesn't sound like anything because sound doesn't travel in space. Also, Gravity wasn't actually filmed in space. Ellie Goulding's giggle sounds like a referee's whistle being blown into a bowl of banana pudding. Sarah Berthel's giggle sounds like a kitten playing with a lawn sprinkler. Bon Iver's giggle sounds like a butterfly passing through a wind chime. Demi Lovato's giggle sounds like an angry squirrel fighting with an old man named Frank. Rick Ross' giggle sounds like a diesel truck using its exhaust brake. But pizza doesn't make any sounds? Wrong. Pizza giggles. You just have to listen, spiritually speaking. Pizza, obviously. You still never said what your giggle sounds like. Well, this was a fun night. The name of my new album is Giggle Sounds. Just kidding, but I bet that made you giggle. I'm going to wake up and discover Taylor Swift wrote a song called Giggle Sounds. She'll say it's not about me, but we'll know the truth. Miley Cyrus' giggle sounds like Kenan Thomas's French character in the bathtub from All That. Lord's giggle sounds like a toddler eating cotton candy for the first time. Pitbull's giggle sounds like an accordion falling down a flight of stairs. Kanye's giggle is the best giggle of all time. All time. And then I guess Ryan Ross finally got control of his account and he was like, whoa, none of these tweets were from me. Alright, so next up we're going to have some comments that he had when Lil Nas X first came out with Old Town Road. This was actually what happened, ultimately was good because Lil Nas X winded up remaking the song with Miley Cyrus's dad, Billy Ray Cyrus, and the song, on top of being number one, it blew up again, and now it was rightfully on the country charts, put back on the country charts, but it was the things that he said. Here is he basically started saying that the country music industry is racist, and here's the actual tweet. But it wasn't just the Rolling Stone article that sent the story off to the races, where now 100 or more articles populate the internet involving Lil Nas X, country music, and race. On March 30th, a Twitter user named Shane Morris posted a 16-part tweet that has since received over 14,000 retweets, including from prominent celebrities, musicians such as Questlove, and blue checkmarked verified journalists, including some who eventually reported on the story. This thread is what sent the story of Lil Nas X, Old Town Road, and country music into hyperdrive. And this tweet was basically, "Hi, former country music label person here." The first tweet read, "Lil Nas X was kicked off the Billboard country charts because the mainstream terrestrial country music market is filled to a surfeit with racism and bigotry. Allow me to explain." Now, whether he was right or he was wrong, whether you agree with him or not, the thing about this is he later went on to say that it's been 40 years since the country charts have put somebody in the top spot. So then he, after doing this, putting the story in the spotlight, this is something that really needed to be out there and for us to be talking about it. Then he sticks his foot in his mouth. Red State Country fans, your thread miss Charlie Pride. Everything you say is a lie. Me, you voted for a motherfucker who lied about where his dad was born and who just yesterday said windmills fucking cause cancer. Miss me with the bullshit, alright? So, I mean, this guy, he's talented. He could be funny sometimes. What he did here with the Lil Nas X was great, but he really can be an asshole sometimes. Look at this. I just found this. I didn't even know about this, but because of Lil Nas's success, he looks like he got Billy Ray Cyrus quite a nice gift.
What's up, everybody? We're about to pull up at Billy Ray Cyrus's crib, and I'm postmating him a gift. We're gonna see what that is pretty soon. Have you guys heard of Old Town Road? You should check it out. Here we go. What's up?
What are you doing here, man?
Yeah, I got you something. I got you something.
What are you talking about?
I need you to come out here. I need you to come out here.
What are you talking about?
I need you to come here.
Look at you all lit up,
man. You know a little something.
Yeah,
I got you something. I got you something.
No,
I got you something.
Wait a minute. There's no way.
It's yours. Old Town Road, #1, 7 weeks.
Hey, 7 weeks, man.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you serious,
Let's go.
man? Whoa. We may not come back, man. Woo.
Let's take it out for a ride.
Holy smokes, man. Woo. Wow. Okay.
And Charlie Pride was a country singer, old country singer. He had 52 top 10 country hits, 40 of which made it to #1. I mean, there's been other top 10 country singers. Darius Rucker, the guy from Hootie and the Blowfish, also made top hits in the country charts. All right, so now let's go on to the last nasty thing for tonight that I found that Shane Morris did. This is a pretty serious allegation that he made of Travis Scott. And Travis Scott is a big hip-hop artist that is now with Kylie Jenner. He claimed that he had raped a girl before he made it big. And I'm going to show you some of what he said prior to him ousting him, so you can kind of tell that there was some bad blood, and there's a pretty good chance that he made the whole thing up, and then what he said afterwards. Travis Scott stole an entire hard drive from William Edwards. We still have the original sessions. The productions were from a guy named Taj Diamond in Houston, and then Nelson London improved them. I mean, it's easy to write hit songs when you have multi-platinum rice stars writing and producing your shit. All those early Travis Scott hooks and choruses were top-lined by Ryan Ross, the 16 times platinum songwriter from Panic! At the Disco. When Travis came to us, he had nowhere to go. All these interviews he gave, all lies. He said he'd never been in the dungeon. A word? Travis and Tony Lonely, the baseball player's brother, were sleeping on the floor in the USC dorms. That's the real story. Remember those interviews where Travis lied and said he just made it in LA? No, he got booted out of 2 LA spots. So when Travis Scott was crashing on the couch of a male nurse at the USC dorms, some shit went down. Defend your boy, Epic Records, because I'll give Gawker everything. You want a rodeo? I'm from Tennessee. Hold on as long as you can. I hope I hear from Sony lawyers. I told Sony HR about this when I worked there. They know what happened. They chose to keep him. Let's assume I found the girl that Travis doesn't want to talk. There is no price. It's not blackmail. It's just a fuck you. I'm going to be quiet for a bit, but when Travis drops Rodeo, I'll drop his career. And a person commented on this saying, that he was holding this information about the woman waiting, not going to the cops, waiting for him to drop his record so then he could come out with this, which makes it kind of suspect. You think me, Che, and Max don't remember that light-skinned chick from the dungeon, Travis Scott? Photos prove you were there, son. See, Travis Scott fucked up like a real crime with witnesses. We held cards. You're waiting for Rodeo? Oh, ask the people at Sony HR what I told them when I was there. I can't wait to drop the story and photos on Travis Scott. Enjoy your short-lived fame, clown. Just one. There's the rapist story about him going around. What's that about? Okay, so then he dropped the story, and then I guess people started calling him a liar and everything, and this is what he came back with after that. Trying to explain himself. Travis Scott, Jackie's Webster, was a client I worked with a long time ago in furtherance of his career. I have no doubt I added tremendous value, and I believe the work we did early on allowed him to gain immense notoriety and fame. Over the course of my career, I have worked with many talented artists and forged friendships with some of the talented people I work with. I think this should be noted, that some of my clients have come and gone, and when they do, I don't praise any ill words about them. Business decisions get made at levels far above my head, and that's dime. The important note here is that there is a reason Travis Scott is an outlier. I wasn't there when the alleged sexual assault took place, but the young woman did reach out to me. I've spoken to her twice. I know who she is. There are 2 reporters that I have spoken with in the past from large, credible outlets. They know who she is as well. Can I say definitely that the allegations are true? No, I can't. I'm choosing to believe the alleged victim because when she made these accusations, Travis Scott was an absolute nobody. There are many reasons women don't report sexual assaults, and just because there is no police record, no hospital record, it doesn't mean it didn't happen. She has chosen not to come forward, and those reasons belong to her. You can't choose not to believe me. But I also like to note that I wasn't the first person to put these accusations on the internet. I'm just the loudest voice. I am no longer a day-to-day manager for any artist, so anyone saying the artists I manage are failures doesn't really understand my business. Of course you haven't heard of any of my other artists. There are none. My company provides a variety of machine learning and artificial intelligence applications for artists, mostly on e-commerce platforms, but sometimes on third-party ticketing systems as well. We also have an interest in a post-production company called Decaf Grunge, which is owned by my brother Max. You've probably seen a lot of our videos and you aren't aware I'm involved. Plot twist, I am. I believe much of Travis Scott's early success was due to how we provided him a variety of digital platforms and strategies, long before Twitter was advanced as it is today. We programmed an army of Twitter bots to like, follow, and retweet his accounts. We had an inside man with the Los Angeles Dodgers who got Travis Scott verified. This was through Tony Lonnie, younger brother of James Lonnie. When we created a lot of hype using more bots to share Facebook articles back before Facebook figured out how to block these activities. Everything featuring Travis Scott was being shared thousands of times, but it really wasn't. It was just the illusion of success. Fake it till you make it. Not to toot my own horn, but I'm an incredible software engineer, and even 7 years ago, I was good at it. We made Travis Scott look like the hottest underground rapper in the world, when in fact his real audience was a fraction of those numbers. I think it's rather unfortunate that Travis Scott fans believe the way they do, but people defend celebrities for their behaviors for a reason I cannot fathom. There were people defending Ray Rice after he punched his wife in the elevator. Chris Brown beat the brakes off Rihanna and he still has a career. I know that no allegations will ever diminish his celebrity power because we live in a fucked up culture. I said what I said knowing that even when confronted with photographic and video evidence, people won't live in reality. Look at XXXTentacion. I mean, there's no question he did awful things he did. He admitted it on tape in interviews. Yet his fans promoted him even after he's dead and gone. There's a reason that there doesn't have to be a reason for me to say what I said. There is no overarching theme here behind it. I don't care about the attention, nor do I think it's going to get me new clients. I don't need more clients. And honestly, I'm not trying to grow beautiful, majestic dolphin. I make the vast majority of my income from a piece of healthcare software I created. I'm just invested in commercial property in South Florida. I don't need all this. I work in music because I enjoy it. I love my employees and it's fun. I could walk away from this at any time and be fine, financially speaking. Well, I mean, you know, there's some truth in what he says. A lot of it sounds believable, but obviously this part right here, if he was doing this good, he wouldn't have set up that GoFundMe account. I'm not the only person out there who thinks Travis Scott is an asshole. Wonder Girl famously had to be credited for a beat Travis Scott stole from her and claimed as his own. There are plenty of people out there who have made similar allegations. Dig down that rabbit hole on your own time. I don't think Travis Scott will ever face any consequences for his alleged sexual assault. If we're not going to hold Supreme Court justices accountable, I don't see rappers being held accountable either. I think he'll continue being an asshole, doing asshole things because that's who he is. Just a plain, old-fashioned asshole. I wish people wouldn't support assholes with their money, but hey, it's your fucking choice how you spend it. Here's the last part, and it's the most important thing, so I hope it's your main takeaway. I've grown up a lot since I wrote that blog back in 2011. The one thing that Hip Hop DX referenced, I wouldn't have written the same thing today. I was really bitter back then. Sure, some of you were right. I was pissed off. It's not a good reason to do things. And unfortunately, some things I wrote 7 years ago is still having a negative impact on my life. I was angry, tired, and feeling really beat up by the industry that chews up a lot of good people. I spent a lot of time and energy working with Travis Scott, and I didn't get a contract. Hiring a lawyer cost money, and back then, I didn't have much money. We lived in a shitty Los Angeles basement. It wasn't pretty. At the time, I was bitter because Travis Scott made some remarks about my disability, and it's a sore subject for me. I'm thankful today that I don't suffer from seizures. You're never really cured of epilepsy, but I'm glad it's no longer making a negative impact on my life. I still think making shitty remarks about anyone's disability makes you an asshole. I'll stand by that statement. A few of you know that during that point in my life, I was partying too much, and yes, that involves doing cocaine. I've seen a few forums post about how I'm a cokehead, that I lie, cheat, whatever. The people making the accusations are people I have never met or worked with, but I do understand that I've gained something of a reputation. I've earned that reputation fair and square, and people were right to make those character judgments about me. You know, something about that seizure, because some people were saying that when he had his seizures that Travis Scott had dropped them. There was a time back around 9/11, I was working on Wall Street. I was doing a lot of partying. I was living with a woman. She was doing a lot of partying. We were doing pretty much everything, but we were doing Xanax, and one of the side effects of Xanax after you stop taking them is you have seizure. Now, I saw her go into a seizure, and to this day, it is the scariest I have ever been in my entire life. I don't remember crying in all these years since I used to live with her. This was back in the mid 2000s. I cried like a little girl, okay? And I was praying to God. I mean, I was really traumatized. I thought she was going to die or that she was going to stay that way. The next day in my office, I was at a stock brokerage firm. I had a seizure myself. When I came back to the ER, when I came back from the ER to my office, I mean, I'm being totally serious about this. 100 grown men in a huge office, all looking at me, terrified. I mean, with fear in their eyes, looking at me like I'm a monster. They must have been just as traumatized as I was the night before when I saw my girlfriend go into it. So, you know, this guy saying he's doing partying, I think it's very possible that it was because of the drugs, and maybe Travis Scott got traumatized and didn't want to be dealing with him anymore. So, I don't know. I'm going to tell you something that probably won't shock you, but lots of people in Los Angeles have a weekend cocaine habit, and it's pretty self-destructive. I wasn't at my best then, and I made some stupid decision while I was on blow. I'll own that behavior and all those mistakes. I'm not trying to hide from my past in any way. There are parts of my past I'm not proud of, but I'll tell you the truth about them. I'd rather tell the truth about who I am than live in a lie. This guy is really too much. I did a lot of coke back then, and I was a tremendous asshole to a lot of people. Cocaine tends to make you an asshole. I don't have any regrets. And you know what? I still think Travis Scott is the single most talented rapper producer I have ever worked with. I'd love to sit here and feed my own ego and say that he'd be a nobody without me, but that's just not accurate. Travis Scott sent me music. I instantly heard his potential, so I put a ton of effort into making sure the world heard what I heard. The reason he's famous is not because of me. He's famous for the same reason LeBron James is famous. He's a generational level talent, and that is self-evident in his music. So, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm seeing tremendous contradictions from one paragraph to another. So, to me, this guy seems very unstable, like a tremendous liar. I believe Travis Scott sexually assaulted that woman. You may not. We'll disagree on that. But at the time of the day, I'm just a normal dude who was at the right place at the right time a long time ago and ended up involved in a really crazy story. I wish you all the best. Okay, now here's another part that really did not sit well with me after I thought about it. Okay, so I was first aware of the incident in 2012. She personally made me aware of it because I was something of an anomaly with regards of the situation. You see, I'm white, as you might not have noticed. she knew me as the white guy that was hanging out with Travis. She found out I was working with him and she contacted me. There aren't other white guys. When she told me about the alleged incident, I did the wrong thing. I asked her if she was sure because I didn't sound like something Travis would do. I told her maybe she just misunderstood the situation. I said, "Are you sure you didn't consent? Maybe you just regret sleeping with him." Now, at first when I read this, I said, that sounds kind of believable. And then thinking back, I said to myself, is this something you would really tell to somebody that just told you they had been raped? Even if you did somehow think it, or just had that little nagging thought in your head, oh no, he could never do that, would you actually ask her this question? I don't think you would. And being as much as this guy lies, he's a very good storyteller, definitely. But sometimes he overdoes it, I feel. And I think that's when you could see really that he's a liar. Looking back, I'm not proud of how I handled the situation. I was looking out for my own self-interest. I did the wrong thing, and I'll own that. I should have believed her and sought to remedy the situation. I should have confronted Travis and said something, but I didn't. I didn't do any of those things because I was being selfish, cocaine-addled dickhead only looking for myself. So he makes it sound very believable, but somehow I just don't see anybody really asking a woman that just told you she's been raped. Alright guys, coming to an end here. This is a nice little tidbit that I found. This might have a lot to do with what's going on, but I found this on Twitter. Somebody said, Shane Morris isn't running from MS-13. He's running from the civil and criminal lawsuit he's facing from stealing $30,000 from a client's Stripe account. He also just fired his personal assistant today with no notice, but he has the audacity to set up a GoFundMe for himself. Crazy. Very, very good point here. A lot of these things are not adding up, so I think there's a good possibility that this could be true, that this definitely has something to do with why he really has disappeared. As of right now, he has deleted his Twitter account. He has his Beautiful Majestic Dolphin Management Company, the website. It just has a BRB on it, Be Right Back. It looks like it's down, I guess, or he took it offline. His blog site, ShaneMorris.1, is also with the same screen, Be Right Back. Alright guys, that's about it. This video went far longer than I wanted it to. Sorry about that. Just wanted to cover everything. There is one more little bit I wanted to put in there, but it's already gone on long enough. If you guys want, if you're still hungry for some more tea, still thirsty for some more tea, there's Pajiba.com wrote a pretty good story with some of the tweets that are no longer available that kind of give you a little bit more insight into who this guy is and how much of a slime ball that he is. Everybody have a great night, and that's about it. God bless. Bye-bye.